but he's here. We're ready to rock and roll, and we got a great show for you planned today. We got Nick Casey, a good friend of mine, country singer and songwriter, here today. He's going to talk to us a little bit about his story in the country singing domain, how he decided to go out and become a musician, talk a little bit about our adventures at the University of Rhode Island, and of course, big hockey fans, so we'll talk just briefly about the restart and how we're excited about that. Nick, such a pleasure to have you on the show today. How you doing today, my friend?
A pleasure to see you always, Jack. Can't complain. Making the most out of the world, and just started going fishing again. So,
well, that is good. Staying safe and everything, wearing your mask everywhere.
You gotta. I actually just ordered. I'm a big fan of these buffs, and I just got one. It's Darth Vader's face. So.
Oh, nice. That's pretty good. He's the original COVID protective person. I think he set the bar for everyone else.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, in a time where COVID wasn't even a glint in anybody's eye. But Nick, pleasure having you on the show. I guess we'll start really to your beginnings, where and when you kind of started to lean towards music and decide for yourself that you wanted to pursue this as a full career.
Yeah, it was. I was a sophomore in high school. I played my first show, and I think from then on, I was bit by the bug, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And just was in a duo back then, and we played coffee houses and whatnot. As college went on, I played at the Emporium in school, and just keeping at it. I've never gotten sick of it, so I think that's just.
Well, that's a good.
I enjoy that the most.
Yeah, you have to love what you do, especially in this day and age. So that's
right.
Good. Was there an aha moment for you where you kind of said, "Wow, I'm really good at this. Like, I can really go forward and go far in this"?
I think I met my buddy Mickey LaMantia, who's from Rhode Island, and he's got a huge following. And having his approval and him wanting to do shows with me, I think that opened me up to a whole new fan base. It's always been positive support, fortunately, from anywhere we go. So just having my back, and I think that really was like, we can make something of this. So
yeah, he's a good mentor to have, and I think that's important in any stages, to have somebody you kind of look up to, and they can show you the ropes a little bit, if you will, and that's definitely important. So you recently released a full studio album, your first.
Did.
And
yeah.
Just tell the audience a little bit about it, what the premise was, and kind of how you got the idea for the kind of the whole thing as a whole.
Well, back in 2018, my band at the time, we won a competition at Mohegan Sun. The prize was $5,000. And so I had to pay off my guitar player because he needed the money at the time. But, we took the rest of it and just funds from other shows. And we're like, we have original stuff. We might as well go into the studio. And we got the rest of our band together and basically just took songs that I had written over a course of probably 5 years or so. And, was able to see what songs aligned well, and took about a year to record the whole thing. And it was brutal, but the end result, I think, came out all right. And I don't know if there was necessarily any inspiration as far as what went where. It was just I think it's a matter of picking the best songs and what flowed well.
Right.
So we knew from our fans which songs were going to go over well. So.
Well, that's great. Is there one that you take off of the album? We lost your picture here for a second. I'm just trying to get that back up. Is there one song or maybe a couple songs from the album that you really look at and say, that's the best one, or that's the one I can relate to the most, or is there one that stands out for you?
Yeah, I would say the title track, "Ghosts Like Me," was kind of the style that I wanted to follow the most, and that was I think as a band we all think that was our best take, and it's something different, and it's kind of it's probably my favorite on the album, and it's I don't know, it's just it's a different song, I think. And,
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I was able to listen to the whole thing. Um, really, I was out doing yard work, believe it or not. And that was kind of the first time that I listened to the full thing. And I did yard work long enough that I was actually able to listen to it the first two full times, actually. And it's actually very impressive, the stories just from the ones that I know from you, like the things that you relate to, the things that you've been involved in your past life, throughout school. I could kind of relate to those stories, which was really cool. And I think that that's important. And I don't know if you were trying for this or it just kind of came naturally, but it's important to relate to the listener in a way, and then being able to relate to you.
right. I think a lot of that was, I would say, kind of about accident. Like the final song, "Fighting Fires," I've had that song since I was in high school, and when I started playing that out, people would
Mm-hmm.
come up to me, "God, I'm a firefighter. You nailed that on the head. That song is my life." And I've always heard that. I guess to a sense, it's a skill to write songs that people relate to in some sense, but I don't really know how. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just write a sing along. But
Right.
I think I always try to go for telling a good story. Between me and you and our fine storytelling class.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
With Vince Petronio, taking some of that knowledge and applying it into lyrics. So, I mean, the story behind "Based on a True Story,"
Mm-hmm.
and we call that song the odd cousin of the album. But I love
Yeah.
that song. And I
Yeah.
love how it came out.
I was a huge fan of it, obviously, because I know the story very well. But I think you say the odd cousin. I thought it fit very well, because some of the stories are fictional or they're a reach. Um, but I thought that the story fit very well in what you were trying to portray with the album and everything. Where can the viewers find your debut studio album?
It's on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon, Pandora, and I actually just got physical CDs. They're on my driveway right
Oh,
now.
I
So,
better get a. I'll order one, and I hope it's signed.
oh, absolutely. But so anywhere you listen to music, we have it. So
That's great. That's great. So I guess now is now that you have your first album released, you've released a couple of songs now. You kind of have this foundation for where you go, and I know that you just said you're starting to get back into shows now that restaurants and venues are starting to open their doors, at least to a certain capacity. What's going to be the next step for you? What's your vision over the next couple of weeks, months, and leading up through the rest of 2020?
well, we had big plans to go out. Like last year, we went to the Midwest, and we're going to go to Kentucky this year. So um, I think hopefully in the fall, if things open up a little more, at least acoustically, I'll go out by myself and see other states. But just playing shows, staying active on social media, and
Mm,
I think it helps a lot more to say, hey, here's my album, rather than be like, hey, watch my live YouTube video from a
right.
bar. So to that extent, it makes things a little easier. But moving forward, we just we want to play where we can. I think.
Absolutely. You have to get your repetition in as much as possible, obviously. Sorry we couldn't get your video back up. I've been trying here, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen after all that. So they could still hear you loud and clear, which is great. Yeah, so I guess our next sort of topic is the NHL Restart. You're a huge Nashville Predators fan, and they've had some really, really strong seasons over the next couple of days. On a scale from 1 to 10, how happy are you that the NHL is returning? I think we lost him. Oh no. Just when I said that we could hear him loud and clear, I'll try to get him back up once again. I'm not sure how that happened there. But we'll get Nick back up in a second. Truly, really great kid. He has been, we were roommates freshman year in college, myself, Nick, and our other good friend Sam Lestaca, who we'll try to have on the show a little bit later in the upcoming weeks. But Nick does a great job with his music. Follow him on Facebook. Nick Casey Music is the page. Fantastic stuff. We'll shout it out in just a couple of seconds. I'm gonna restart the call here and hopefully get him back here. But he's a really driven musician and does a really good job with connecting to the fans. And I said that, and he was modest. Here he is. He's coming back.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. I think I accidentally hit something, or
oh boy,
I'm not sure.
My connection's all too great.
That's all right. I think we actually got you back here. Let me see if I can pull this off again. Maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, we got your audio. So I was just about to say to you, obviously the NHL Restart happening up again. How excited are you on a scale from 1 to 10 that the NHL is returning this year?
Oh, I'd give it a solid 9.5.
Do you think that the Predators have a chance this year? I know that they haven't been having the best year, especially in recent years where they're President's Trophies winners and top of the Central Division. Do you think that they have a road in to the Stanley Cup this year?
Well, I think with the whole format of was it 24? Not 24, 32 teams or something. It's a ridiculous number now that have made the playoffs. I think they have a better chance. I mean, they weren't making the playoffs with the 16-team cut, but I think every team's going to have that drive, just wanting to play. So I think it's anyone's game. I think it kind of gives people a clean slate into an opportunity to win the cup. I think the Predators will take full advantage of that. But I definitely think it's anyone's game with the break that they've all had. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of a huge reset button on the turnout there. But yeah, it should be an exciting couple of weeks leading up to that kind of final push. Very excited for that. Yeah, it's just a pleasure having you on today, Nick. I'm sorry about the some technical difficulties that we had. We'll figure those out and get them going for next time. Just kind of leading up, we were able to spend a sure amount of time together in school. I just want to see if there were any moments that stand out to you that kind of relate to your singing career in school. I know that you mentioned that you played at the Emporium a couple times. Was there a moment in college at all that you had that obviously one of your songs was attributed to this, but just your kind of your singer personality, if you will? What did college have an effect on that, and any specific examples?
I think coming out of college, I feel like I was, more outgoing than I was before. So I always kind of wish that I had the personality I have now when I was in high school, because I would have ruled the place. But I think just that, playing for you guys all the time, no one ever said that I was silly bad. I guess one of my, just mainly, I guess, being around the Fine Arts Center, people always attributed me to singing country music, and they always saw that I could do something, or that me and my band could do something. So all those things. I always loved playing at Mia's Kitchen in the Emporium. It was always
absolutely
the best. It was, but yeah, nothing I can really specifically pinpoint. Songs are obviously always inspired from things that we did there. I can remember writing a song that called Late Night Radio in Bressler Hall on my buddy's guitar. But I think different inspirations came from different years and different people we met along the way. So
I think that's kind of the best answer for that question too. It's a collection of memories, collection of people. That's really good stuff. Nick, I want to thank you so much again for coming on the show
I appreciate
today.
you having me.
It's awesome. Great to hear you and see you again for the time that we did.
I know.
Where can everybody find you?
You can find me, Nick Casey Music, on Facebook, and then just Nick Casey on Instagram and Twitter. And the album is just by Nick Casey. So search my name. You should find me everywhere.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.